Okay, I think we're live. Sorry, from my end, it looks like it's buffering. For anyone who's watching in the chat, just let me know if I'm live right now, because this is kind of... From my end, it's a little slow. Okay, it looks like... I'm just gonna do... Okay, it looks... I might be good right now. I have no idea if I'm live right now. I think I am. I'm just gonna play it out as if I am live. Hey everyone, welcome to another weekly live stream Q&A with a very poor introduction. Apparently with poor streaming status. But I want to welcome everyone who's currently in the chat right now. Spider Russ Prime and Mr. Chang 121212. Welcome, guys. And for everyone else who's silently watching, welcome as well. Okay, I think it might... Am I cutting out, guys? Because it looks like from my end, I have a very poor status. Okay, it says now I have a good connection. Okay, I think we're good. I have confidence that we are good. It says I have a good connection. So if anything goes wrong during this stream, if I start cutting out or start pausing, just type it in the chat. I'll be able to see it. But anyway, again, welcome. Ever since the connection was low iffy, we've had Richard G come into the chat, Lucas Rudin, and John McKinney, who says, damn shame Alan Rickman died. He would have been perfect for Judge Furlow in a live-action remake of Hunchback of Notre Dame, Disney's darkest movie. I have some... I haven't seen Hunchback of Notre Dame in a long time, but saying it's Disney's darkest movie does not... Like, it doesn't even... The darkness for that movie doesn't even compare to, like, the end of the original book. So, I don't know. That's just me. Okay, William Clark is in the chat. Hi there, welcome. Guys, is my connection strong? Because I am not, it doesn't seem like I'm coming in very well. I keep getting errors saying that my streaming status is poor or receiving no data. So if you guys can see me in the chat, if it's acting up, just, again, let me know. Because I don't want to... If things go pretty poorly in terms of a connection, I might have to cut things off sooner than I would like to. Because this is... Okay, I am... Is everything good? All right, now it says I have excellent connection. I had to just quickly... I had to quickly switch internet settings. So I think we're good. John McKinney says again, I never read the Hunchback of Notre Dame book by Victor Hugo. Is it worth a read? I wouldn't be able to say, because the only way I even heard about the ending was listening to Junk Food Cinema, and Sebra Cargill was talking about how the Disney movie kind of butchered the original book's ending by having a happy ending in the movie. So I would not be the best person to give you the best recommendation on that book. Okay, Spiders Prime says it's really lagging from my end. Hold on, guys. Yeah, hang on. I might have to stop this right now. If it's really lagging, I mean, right now is it still lagging, or am I doing a lot better? Because I don't want to continue this if you guys are getting a very poor stream. Mr. Chang says get a new router. I don't think I have the time to do that. And he also says, hey man, what are your thoughts on the MCU? It's amazing. The MCU is awesome. I've done several reviews on it. Like last year, I did a bunch of recap reviews leading up to Avengers Endgame. It's one of my favorite film franchises out there. You must be a new subscriber, or have you been here for a long time? Let me know. Cassidy J. Williams, welcome to the chat. I think we're all good now. It says I have excellent connection. I think we're all good. And Cassidy... Okay, Spider is Prime just approved that he sees just perfectly. So, okay, I think we are good. Then he retracted that message. That's okay. Anyway, it's back to what Cassidy J. Williams said. What are your thoughts on Space Jam? Never saw Space Jam, though I did see Space Jam, and I'm more of a Looney Tunes back in action kind of guy anyway. And I'm just messing with you. You accidentally misspelled jam as Jan, but that's fine. I got what you were trying to tell me. So yeah, it's another week of isolation. The world really has gone to shit. People are rioting out in the streets to reopen the economy, which is a horrible, horrible idea right now, because we still haven't had a vaccine. We haven't contained the virus, so it's just not a good idea to start reopening places and start loosening up on social distancing. Some states out there just want to do it. But again, these streams are not meant for me to talk politics at all or what's going on out in the real world. Here to just hang out with you guys, talk movies, theme parks, nerd stuff, whatever crosses the mind. So I have been seeing a lot of old classic movies recently. Over the weekend, I did reviews for Casablanca and Singing in the Rain. You guys should go check those reviews out if you have not. And it's just been an interesting time going through this pandemic without any actual new releases, but at the same time, it's so great to be able to discover so many old classic movies. Like just the past week, I watched not the original, the second version of A Star Is Born with Judy Garland and James Mason. I plan to have a review on that within the next couple of weeks, maybe next week, and then Some Like It Hot starring Marilyn Monroe and Jack Lemmon, another Billy Wilder film. It's great. I'll have reviews for both those movies later, but I enjoyed them all quite a bit. Okay, Mr. Chang says that he's been watching me since my Fantastic Four review from 2015. Glad you've been here for a while. Lucas Rudin says, which tone of movies do you prefer, dark and serious or lighthearted? It ultimately depends on the execution. For example, I hate to go the comic book route, but like Batman works perfect for like a dark and serious tone. Superman does not. Superman absolutely does not work for a dark and serious tone. It should be more lighthearted, should be more hopeful. And again, it's just, it depends on the execution of it all. It depends on your execution on how you convey those tones. Because sometimes subjects that could be handled in a dark and serious manner, for me, just don't work. And the biggest thing is Joker. I've ranted about that movie so many times, but I think Joker is not, it's too dark, and to the point where it's like, it almost becomes like, I don't want to say it's comedic, but it's just so predictable and unoriginal that it being dark is just not, it's boring to me. That's why Birds of Prey was a much better DC R-rated movie, in my opinion. Richard G says, what do you think of the film Children of Men? I think it's a pretty great movie. I reviewed it. I actually reviewed it. I want to say it was 2016 I reviewed that movie. But I really dug it. I think it's incredibly well directed. That one whole single shot within a car during a chase scene is pretty outstanding. And, you know, Alfonso Cuarón does a fantastic job with most of his movies. Mr. Chang, I've been watching a lot of shows like Breaking Bad, Ozark, Money Heist, Mindhunter, etc., etc. That's something I want to try to do something within these streams rather than just be simply me answering your questions. I want to get more interactive with you guys. What, now that there's nothing really to do out there, what TV shows or movies have you guys been rewatching or discovered for the first time? And I could either like give my opinion, or you guys could just talk amongst yourselves within the chat. Is Joker better than The Dark Knight? No, it is not. The Dark Knight is better than Joker by a country mile. Joker is just... I've been so lazy. I have a movie, but at the same time, I'm kind of don't want to watch it. I mean, again, there's nothing really better to do out there. When the Russo brothers were announced they were going to direct Captain America 2, how excited were you knowing they were from Community? Actually, if I'm going to be totally honest, I thought that their decision to direct Winter Soldier was kind of unknown. Like, it was kind of unproven, and they made one other movie beforehand. Actually, I don't know if it was one or two other movies, but prior to Winter Soldier, their career on directing movies has not been that solid. Like, they directed You Mean Dupree. They've mostly done comedies, which I mean, I haven't seen them, but that's not really how I would. I don't know. It's like I was not super enthusiastic about it, but at the same time, Marvel had yet to have done a bad movie. In my opinion, they still haven't done a bad movie, but I didn't expect them to blow it out of the park the way they did. I mean, they did a fantastic job with Community, which I'm actually starting to rewatch now. Again, because there's nothing to do. And the paintball episodes that they do later on in season 2, I think it's season 2, are so well done. I want to make sure that the ones they did were in season 2, because I know Justin Lin did the first paintball episode. Yeah, Joe Russo directed the last 2 paintball episodes in season 2. So I was right. Yeah, Winter Soldier was definitely not. I mean, I had a feeling it was going to be a good movie, but I don't know how many people expected it to be as good as it ended up being. It is just awesome. What are your thoughts of Universal's plans of rebooting Shrek? Uh, I sorry, a little tired. I have no real opinions on the matter. The only thing that I'm not a fan of is the fact that they want to reboot it. Um, like the people that behind Despicable Me are like going to be executive producer for any new Shrek movies, which those movies are incredibly lazy. Like not Shrek, but the Despicable Me movies and most of Illumination's films, they're just so lazy that I don't want like any kind of laziness to continue with Shrek, since the sequels 3 and 4 were just not good in their own way. They were kind of lazy in their own way, actually. Jimtastic, welcome to the chat and the stream. Glad you could join us. Have I seen 2001: A Space Odyssey? No, I have not. I've. No, I'm sorry. That is a total lie. That is an absolute lie. I have seen 2001: A Space Odyssey, but I haven't seen it for 11 years. And I remember it being one of those movies where I was like, I respect it for what it is, but I don't like it. I mean, it's just, I just didn't get it. Maybe I'll watch it again at some point, do a review on it. And who knows, like 11 years later, maybe my opinion will change, but I was not a big fan of it. Okay, I start each video with these headphones on. I gotta take them off. Because I cannot wear those headphones for a full hour, I don't think. Did you know that Weta is doing the visual effects for Godzilla vs. Kong? Oh, okay. The two Godzilla vs. Kong questions from two different people. The first one came from Lucas Rudin, and Jimtastic asks, do you think Godzilla vs. Kong is going to get delayed again because of Pixar's Soul? I think so at this point. And who's to say that those other movies will get delayed because of what's going on out there? I mean, nobody knows for sure when we'll be able to go back to the movies. I mean, it was recently announced that Georgia is going to be reopening its theaters and several other small businesses, and I'm just like, don't do that. Please don't do that. But I think at this point there's no doubt that Godzilla vs. Kong is going to get delayed again, and at this point it's probably for the better. But it would be ironic if that movie was the only one that got delayed to a later time because it wasn't of the pandemic. Sorry, folks. But yeah, with Soul and No Time to Die and Black Widow being moved to November as well, Godzilla vs. Kong really is going to get murdered if it stays where it is. 2001 looks great on 4K. I would imagine it does. I still don't own a 4K Blu-ray player yet. I do own 3 4K Blu-rays. I talked about this last week. The original Aladdin, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and Avengers Endgame. But right now I'm in no hurry to get a 4K player. Yeah, for me, like, not only is 2001 a very slow movie, I mean, in the first half of the movie, the slow pace doesn't actually bother me all that much. It's later on in the movie when it's not only slow, but starts to make, call me dumb, but zero sense. Like, I just didn't really fully understand 2001. But again, that was... I saw that movie 11 years ago, so maybe my opinion will change. And I think I have to see that movie in the theaters as well if I'm ever going to rewatch it again, because then I don't have to look at my phone. I don't have to pause it, go do something else, or don't pause it and go do something else because it's so long. I would rather be in the theater watching it, giving it my full attention, which is another main reason why I'm hoping this whole pandemic ends, as Jim Tastic points out, because I miss that movie theater experience. James Bond 007, welcome to the chat. And he says, hey Alex, I'm late, but I made it. You're 20 minutes in out of an hour and a half live stream. At least that's how long I'm going to hopefully make these live streams go. But you're by comparison of how long the stream is, you're right on time. You actually didn't miss a whole lot. You know what? The only thing you actually missed, Mr. Bond, is that there was a lot of lag in my stream. So you came in at a time where everything seems to be going smoothly. Are they ever going to make a Legend of Zelda and Metroid movie in the future? Hard to say. I mean, now that we're seeing more video game movies be more of quality, I guess. I mean, Detective Pikachu isn't a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination, and I'm not a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog. I think it's possible, but there's a lot about Legend of Zelda and even Metroid that would be tough to translate. I mean, for one, with Legend of Zelda, you have a protagonist that doesn't speak, so no matter what decision people make in terms of like making Link talk, it's not going to be it's not going to please everyone. And then with Metroid, I'm just wondering, how are you going to make it to the point where it doesn't remind you of Alien or Aliens, because Metroid has a really strong Alien vibe to me. Mr. Chang says happy 420, which I should point this out right now. 420 is actually the day I started my YouTube channel in 2013. So today, I actually did not plan this at all. I did not plan to do this stream on the 7th anniversary of my YouTube channel's inception, but hey, here we are. And for those of you who are enjoying your 420, I hope it is relaxing, smoothing, and I hope you do not get paranoid from it, because I know people out there that they can't smoke pot because it makes them paranoid. Have I seen Apocalypse Now? Theatrical, Redux, or Final Cut? Now, this one I can tell the truth and say no, I have not. But I have had people push me to watch it, and I feel like it's an essential movie I need to watch. Let's see, what else? Do you want more Hollywood-made Godzilla movies? I would. We'll have to see what Godzilla vs. Kong does, but I'm fine with Godzilla movies coming out from either Hollywood or Japan. Probably more Japan, because they just make better Godzilla movies. As much as I enjoy the 2014 Godzilla, I find myself rewatching the Japanese Godzilla movies more. Spyro the Dragon. Okay, I gotta say this right now. I've started playing the Spyro Ignited trilogy on the Switch, and I'm not gonna hesitate. I enjoy it so far. I enjoy the game so far, since I never had a PlayStation back in the day. In order for a Spyro movie to actually work, though, it would have to be animated. You cannot do it live action. Actually, it was one of my biggest problems with Sonic the Hedgehog, is that it was live action. And not only was it live action, but it was just a generic road trip movie. I mean, I talked about that in my review already, so no need to bore you with those details. Just go watch the review. Have you seen I cannot speak English right now. Have you seen Shawshank Redemption? It's on Netflix. No, I have not. But given that it's on Netflix, now I have no excuse to watch it. I have heard that movie gets really emotional, so I think I feel like it's one of those movies where I need to be in the right mindset to watch it. So we'll see how it turns out. So, okay, guys, I want to thank you all for joining the stream. I know we had a bit of a rocky start with that connection early on, but I always enjoy hanging out with you guys. And I want to do a little self-promotion right now. I know it's kind of tacky, and considering that a lot of people are out of work, it might not be the best time to go ahead and do this. But for those of you out there who are on the channel or who subscribe to the channel, if you want to try to support my content even further and help me try to make some more movie related videos, I do have a Patreon account. You guys go check out the different tiers I have. For $1 a month, you guys can get access to movie watch-alongs. But because I only have 3 patrons on my Patreon account, so I don't want to really do this until I get at least 10. So if I could get up to 10 patrons on my Patreon account, then I'll be able to do some of these rewards. And again, for $1 a month, you get movie watch-alongs. And if you guys can't support the channel financially, then that's totally fine. Your subscriptions to YouTube and even just you sharing my content helps a lot. That actually goes a long way. But again, if you support the channel, you go over to patreon.com and we can try to get some of these things going. And if we get to $500 a month, then I will not only review Transformers The Last Night, but I will do a watch along with you guys. I know that's a lot of people were disappointed that I did not review Transformers The Last Night. I had my reasons, but now that the movie's been existing for 3 years, I think I feel better watching it without actually giving money to a series that's going to have crappy sequels. And I feel like I just lost several viewers with that plug, but whatever. Those you stayed are dedicated to the cause. The Legend of Spyro trilogy gave Spyro much deeper story and gave him more development. I have not gone that far into the game, so I will just take your word for it. Best Oscar-worthy villainous performance: Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men, or Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. Ooh, that's tough. You know what? I might actually have to go with Heath Ledger. It's kind of a cliched answer, but Heath Ledger, like, when you watch The Dark Knight and you watch his performance as the Joker, you don't see Heath Ledger. You don't think about any of his other movies, whereas with Javier Bardem, you still see Javier Bardem, and he's very effective, but there's not for a second. You don't think about Heath Ledger for a second when you watch The Joker. So that's my answer right there. Can you rank all the King Ghidorah designs? That would be cool. As like a future video, I mean, maybe. Yeah, maybe as a future video one day. Although, yeah, we'll see. Because that would be actually a very tough video to do, because a lot of King Ghidorah just kind of looks similar compared to his other incarnations. But we'll see. In the future, we'll definitely see about that. So enough about me asking questions. I want to hear from you guys. What have you guys been doing to keep yourselves occupied during the pandemic. Are any of you actually working essential jobs? Or for what have you... What have you guys been watching on your own time, whether you're rewatching or discovering? Just let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys. Lucas Rudin, have you seen or heard of The Mist from 2007? Be warned, the ending is very depressing. I want to say I did see The Mist. Let me see. I want to say I did see The Mist when it was in theaters, actually. I actually don't remember if I saw The Mist, but so I'll have to get back to you on that, or just watch the movie either for the first time or again. So, well, okay. Here's something I could talk about right now in terms of what's going on in terms of my YouTube channel. I do have a couple reviews lined up. For those of you who have just been tuning in, I will be doing reviews for the 1954 version of A Star is Born, as well as Some Like It Hot. But for those of you who actually follow me on Twitter, if you don't, at RealMrRobinson is the Twitter handle, so go follow me there. But I have talked about reviewing one of the very worst movies ever made. That is, if I can just pull myself to watch it. I can't say what the movie is, but I will say it's a movie that I have never seen in its entirety. So that will be a very interesting review to get around. What do you think is the best villain in Star Wars? I think it's everyone's answer, Darth Vader. Like, he's the most menacing, he's the most dangerous, he's the most iconic. Vader's got it all, but okay, if I were to, like, I could give my 5 favorite Star Wars villains, and that would be Vader. That would be Palpatine, despite the Rise of Skywalker, how they brought him back and how they treated him. Kylo Ren. I would also, in terms of the last 4, probably Krennic. Orson Krennic from Rogue One, I think, is a pretty good villain in his own right. And then because he's just cool looking, in my opinion, General Grievous. And again, I'm only going by the movies. I'm only basing this list off the movies. Because if I were to include the Clone Wars, then Maul would be up there somewhere. But since he was not a character at all in the movies, I don't count him. Okay, well, and Clark, it's good to know that you are still working. And you're binge watching Arrow and Parks and Rec. Right on. Now, here's a question for you guys out there before I answer any more questions. I have been wanting to try to get into the, as they call it, the Arrowverse, but basically the DC shows that air on the CW. I hear they're on Netflix, but much like a newcomer to, say, Godzilla or Star Trek, there's just so much that it actually kind of feels intimidating. Is it worth investing my time into? Because it would also be a great excuse for me to try to get into DC a lot more. But I just want to know, is the Arrowverse worth my time? And what are the best things you could recommend from the Arrowverse? Mega Fanboy. I don't think I've seen you in the chat prior to now, but welcome, mega fanboy. Do you think Black Widow getting her own movie is way overdue, considering that she already died in Endgame? You know, I actually was not into the idea of Black Widow getting her own movie because I think we got to know her very well as a supporting character to where she had her own story. But from what they've introduced with the movie, oh, sorry, I don't know why I'm so tired. But with what we've seen from the trailers, it looks like they're going to really delve more into her past without it actually being a prequel before we meet her in Iron Man 2. I think this is, if I'm correct, this is set between Civil War and Infinity War. So it won't have to be a straight up prequel. And I'm excited for it because I talked about this when I was on Meet the Movie Press. If somebody had came from the future, if I went to the future let me start that again. If I had traveled to the past to 2010 after Iron Man 2 came out and told everyone that just watch, she's going to be one of the best characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, people would laugh at me. But now at this point, I think people like really love Black Widow since the movies have been continued going on. And I think the movie will be good. I think all things considered, the movie will be good. Maybe not entirely necessary, but I think it'll be good. I think the MCU hasn't let me down yet so far. What's your favorite non-Godzilla Toho monster movie? That would be the original Mothra. Out of all the movies, science fiction monster movies that Toho has made that do not involve Godzilla, Mothra is my favorite. And it's actually one of my favorite movies of all time. Let's see if I can't find it, but it's like in the top 100 of my favorite movies of all time. More like in the lower tier between number 100 and number 91. Like I absolutely love Mothra. So yeah, what else is going on in the world? Yeah, again, I'm planning some more videos. Again, doing these live streams all week. There's actually not a whole lot of activity going on right now, so I'm actually probably going to cut this live stream short. Not soon, but probably going on for another 20 minutes. And earlier today, I watched A Fistful of Dollars again because I'm reviewing the Man with No Name trilogy and Yojimbo. Okay, what are the most unintentionally creepy practical CG effects you've ever seen? I feel like this is a trick to just get me to say cats. Because that definitely... Okay, CG effects, it would be cats. Practical, I think we're talking about the live-action Dr. Seuss movies. Because the Who's in The Grinch and Mike Myers as the Cat in the Hat are just horrifying. Jim Carrey as the Grinch is fine, but everyone else... Oof, just... No, absolutely not. Okay, William Clark says, I think the Arrowverse is worth it. If they have their silly moments, but they do have some great characters. I've watched Batwoman as well. It starts off rough, but it got better over the first season. Now, I have a question about actually getting into the Arrowverse. I mean, first of all, where's the best place to start? And second of all, I have heard that the first season of Arrow is terrible. Is that true? And if it is, does season 2 open up with a recap? Because I think I remember somebody saying that season 2 gets a lot better, and the best part about season 2 is that it begins with a recap of the last season, so you don't have to watch it. Just is that true? I want clarification, and also where the best place to start in the Arrowverse is. Do you think that Vera needs more love? I think so. I mean, Vera and the Unbelievable is not one of the best movies that they've made, and truth be told, Varen is even one of the greatest monsters. He's like C, maybe D level in terms of Godzilla monsters. But it would be cool to see Varen again, considering that he had a very brief cameo in Destroy All Monsters, which, like, him being in Destroy All Monsters is pretty much the equivalent of Keira Knightley popping up at the end of Pirates of the Caribbean 5 with no dialogue. And then to have Varen just get cut out of GMK with Anguirus, that was cruel. That was mean. But in the end, it comes down to money. Are you going to review Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman? I have not seen Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, and to be honest, I don't think I'll be doing it anytime soon because I feel more comfortable if I had reviewed, much like I did with the Alien vs. Predator movies, I'm going to feel more comfortable if I have reviewed the prior movies beforehand, like the Frankenstein movies and the Wolfman movies. It just doesn't feel right to review that movie without reviewing any of the others. So that might be a while before you actually see a review of that from me. What's something I was going to say? Back to the Man with No Name trilogy. Somebody on YouTube on my Yojimbo review actually asked me if I'm going to be reviewing Sanjudo, and I will. I'm just going to do the Man with No Name trilogy first, since I'd planned that series of reviews long before, years ago, back when Red Dead Redemption 2 was about to come out. But as I said in my review, I was so busy with the Halloween reviews that I just didn't have the time to review the Man with No Name trilogy. Wait, what? Okay. Uh, Elijah Wood voices Spyro in the remastered games? I gotta look this up. Well, I'll be damned. He does. Okay, I never put that together. Um, okay, back to the Space Jam argument. In all seriousness, I think Space Jam is okay. I'm not a huge fan of it. Like I said, I'm more of a Looney Tunes back in action kind of guy. I think that movie's just a little more clever and a little more funny. And there's just some stuff about. I mean, to be honest, I haven't seen Space Jam in a long time, but I do know Corey Coleman from Double Toasted because I got the shirt on. He he gets famously made fun of for being the guy that directed Space Jam, even though he just worked on One Shadow for Tweety Bird. But everyone, it's just become a joke that Corey Coleman directed Space Jam, right to the point where the Wikipedia page for Space Jam will often be re-edited to where it says directed by Corey Coleman. Check it up right now. No, it doesn't. It's not edited this time, but there was a point. There's several times where the Wikipedia page will be edited and Space Jam will say it was directed by Corey Coleman. Oh, okay. Elijah Wood voices Spyro in the Legend of Spyro trilogy, but wait a minute. And then he says that Tom Kenny voices. The Spyro Reignited trilogy. Is that the one where Tom Kenny voices? Okay, those are two different games. Gotcha. Okay, yeah, the one I have on the Switch is the Reignited trilogy. So glad you clarified that, because I don't like looking like a fool. Gary Oldman? Wow. Okay, they got some big names for Legend of Spyro in that case. Okay, I gotta look up the list. Okay, Elijah Wood, David Spade, Gary Oldman. Wow, they got a lot of people. Mark Hamill. Hmm. Okay, Gary Oldman was actually probably the last person I ever expected to lend his voice for a video game. That's pretty cool. Okay, okay, just noticed Maria Gomez. Welcome. Hmm. DeQuantate, welcome. Glad to see you here. What is your favorite pizza place? This might be the point where I get crucified, but I'm actually not a huge pizza guy. I've started eating. I've started eating pizza a little more often than I used to. Um, I mean, because I was at a friend's wedding back in September in San Antonio, and I just was like, well, I'll give pizza a try. And I had the whole thing, but I just don't eat pizza regularly. So sorry that I'm not a pizza guy, to be honest. Did you see Transformers Animated? I've seen a few episodes of it, and it's cool. I haven't seen all the show, but it definitely has a lot of energy to it. It seems fun from what I've seen, but I'm a Transformers Prime guy more when it comes to Transformers TV shows. What's the worst slash frustrating video game you've ever played? Now, is that a two-part question? Um, because I can, I mean, because if we're talking about the worst video game, let me see. I mean, there's the Universal Studios theme park adventure game, which I bought back when the GameCube was new because I love Universal Studios theme parks, and the game is just terrible. It's absolutely atrocious. Yeah, it's just terrible. So, but I don't know if that's the worst game out there. I mean, the Rambo video game where it's a rail shooter, and they've got like terrible audio. That's pretty atrocious. Aliens Colonial Marine, Aliens Colonial Marines is also awful. In terms of frustrating games, like in terms of just games that are hard, um, I mean, Arkham Knight's not really that hard, but I remember playing Arkham Knight, and I'm just so. The thing that really gets me with Arkham Knight is that throughout the entire game, you have the Scarecrow in the monitors constantly giving his monologues about how he's going to break down Batman. I'm just like, will you shut up? Like every turn, it's like Scarecrow is taunting me, and it just gets really irritating after some point. And I also hate the Batmobile segments in Arkham Knight. I've started playing Jedi Fallen Order. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I've mentioned it on another video, I think. But Jedi Fallen Order, I'm really digging the story so far, but it is challenging. Like, I didn't expect the game to be as challenging as it is. And I think I have it set on Jedi Knight level. Shay Smithers, welcome to the stream. Hey Alex, if you haven't played them yet, I strongly recommend the Bioshock series of games if you're looking for video games with great storytelling. They're amazing. I actually have the Bioshock games. I downloaded them on the PlayStation 4 because I have the PlayStation Plus, and they were actually free, so I have them, so I'll definitely give those a shot. Right now, aside from Jedi Fallen Order, I'm in the middle of the Spider-Man DLC. Cause it was on a it was on a sale. So yeah, I'm in the middle of the City That Never Sleeps segments of Spider-Man. I'm nearly done with the heist segment where Felicia. What? Okay, last name. Felicia Hardy, because one point I accidentally said Felicia Day, but that's someone else. Let's see what we got here. Have you watched any videos from Joe? Yeah, I have not. I'm not familiar with. I'm not familiar with him. All right, so folks, I'm gonna be here for another 8 minutes. We're actually gonna just stay here for an hour, because I gotta be honest. That first, like maybe 5 minutes of just not of just bad connection, that kind of threw me out of the loop. So we are going to just cut the stream off in 7 minutes. In terms of Space Jam, I'm more on the side of the people that enjoyed it, like the movie critic Roger Ebert. Oh, I think I heard that he and Gene Siskel liked it. Okay, I want to make sure that we got that right, because I don't want to because I know 96. Yeah, Ebert Siskel was alive back then. I'm gonna have to. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. Daquan says you were one of my favorite YouTubers, and I enjoy your reviews. Thank you. Well, thank you, Daquan, for the nice comment there. Definitely, it definitely means a lot when people say that I'm one of their favorite YouTubers. So I definitely enjoy the support. All right, thank you for the support. Don't want to come across as egotistical, but I'm glad. I thank you for the support. I'm glad you're enjoying what I have to put out there. What is your favorite Star Wars movie? Empire Strikes Back. No question there. It is Empire Strikes Back. Godzilla versus Smaug from The Hobbit. Who do you think would win? Godzilla. Godzilla's bigger. Like, Godzilla's bigger. He would tear Smaug to pieces. I mean, there's that. I think it's. What is it? I think there was a YouTube channel called Toon Sandwich. Yeah, Toon Sandwich. They did their villain Super Bowl. And it's funny how they had, like, they basically had Godzilla do the that final move on Smaug that he did on the Mutos in the 2014 movie. Will you review Predacon Rising? I will. I would like to at one point, but I feel like I'd have to do a review of Transformers Prime, the actual series, before I actually review that TV movie that acted as the series finale. But that would be something on the docket that I'd like to do. I think it would be funny if King Kong gave Godzilla the finger and Godzilla's like, what does that mean? I don't see that happening, but if it did, then that definitely means Adam Wingard saw that movie Ape, where the monkey just knocks down a helicopter and gives the finger. Like, that is, you can't make stuff up like that. Like, that is just like, wow. Okay, folks, we're going to be here for another 3 minutes. Another 3 minutes, and then I'm actually going to head out soon. I mean, can't physically go anywhere, but I feel like the beginning of this stream just kind of messed me up in terms of the vibe. So we're going to try to pick this up for an hour and a half stream next week, next Monday. So we got a few, so that's 2 minutes and 30 seconds left of taking questions. I heard you had to change your opinion on the Predator. Yeah. Thinking back on it, I mean, I don't think it's god awful. I don't think it's like absolutely atrocious because Aliens vs. Predator Requiem exists. And I hate Alien Covenant more than I do the Predator, but it is definitely a movie that is not aged well at all. Like, I don't even remember. I think I gave it a pass just because it wasn't the same Predator movie in terms of like predators hunting people. So at least it was different in its own way. I hope they don't cut away from the Godzilla and King Kong action a lot. I hope they don't either, because that was one of my biggest complaints with Godzilla King of the Monsters. Because they just they like not only that, but it was just like too close up. And as much as you want to criticize the Gareth Edwards movie about cutting away, when it showed the monster action, it was clear and it was in wide shots, so you could see everything. Which, by the way, Gareth Edwards was live tweeting Legendary's watch along of his Godzilla movie, and I love how Gareth Edwards just decided to become the criticisms of, oh, he cut away from the monster action. So that's pretty funny that he, like, it's like, yes, I know that this is a criticism, so I'm just gonna join in on it. But I don't mind it. I don't mind when the movie cuts away from the monster action. All right, let's take one more question, and then we are going to be out of here. Who is it going to be? Who's the person that's going to ask? William Clark says, I also do prefer Looney Tunes back in action over Space Jam. It feels more true to the characters, though it definitely has its issues. The human characters are a bit bland. Yeah. Jeremy Grandson says, how's Dragon Ball? Still have not watched it. So, yeah, sorry about that. And then someone said, okay, William Clark, this is what I was trying to find. Now, the first season of Arrow isn't all too bad. The acting gets better over time. Season 2 is a huge improvement. I'll start with Arrow, then Flash, then Legends, then Supergirl. Okay, well, there's my answer. Might have to do that. And that being said, we're going to get on out of here. For those of you, sorry, Jeremy Gradson, sorry about that. But I was actually going to cut this stream short because just for some reason, the beginning where the stream is just kind of glitchy messed up my vibe. But anyway, again, this is going to be a weekly Q&A that's going to go on. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for all the questions. It's going to be every Monday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're in the mountain area of America, that would be 6:30. Central America, that would be 7:30. In East America, that would be 9:30. No, I'm sorry. That is all wrong. 8:30. And if you are in Hawaii, that would be 2:30. So that'll be, yeah, tune in back next week, 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. We'll be doing these every week. Again, if you guys really want to support the channel more than just your subscriptions on YouTube, you can go to my Patreon account. And for $1 a month, you are able to partake in live movie watch-alongs with me, where I review movies, where I just watch movies with you guys and do commentaries on them pretty much, or just riff track like stuff. So go check that out. If we get to $500 a month, then I will not only review Transformers Last Night, but I will also do a live watch-along of that. If you cannot financially support the channel due to what's going on out in the world, then that's totally fine. Your subscriptions are good enough. Notification takes too slow to report me. That's a shame. That I blame YouTube on that totally. But yeah, for next week, again, 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. Hope to see you guys there. And until next time, this is the Real Mr. Robinson telling you there's only one. Review robots tomorrow or next week. I will look into it because I have some other movies that I want to review. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys around. Take care. Be safe.